This SoonerScoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. Don't miss a moment on or off the field. Make every day a highlight with LASIK at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIKs.
As far as like Gentry, Eli, Dobie, Day, Jacoby, I feel like we all push each other to get better every day. You know, we come to practice and we see. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah, it's my first time doing this. You know, I ain't never did this before.
You're good.
They told me to come outside. I'm like, what, me? Okay. But yeah, like I said, you know.
Welcome to the spotlight. There, Cortland Guillory, the freshman defensive tackle, quarterback talking, or defensive tackle. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? The freshman cornerback. It's been a long day. Been out in the sun all day. Welcome back, though. That was Cortland Guillory talking to the media after practice. Oklahoma's 6th practice wrapped up. We talked to Brent Venables on Wednesday as well. You can see everything, the breakdown that George and I did here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel right here. So you can see it all. It's already posted. Let's get into some of the players that we talked to. And George, hello. How are we? Welcome back.
Great. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for
I love camp
Thank you for
season.
coming
This
here.
is great.
It is. It did feel like, and I know that we talked about this on the Brent Venables breakdown, but just the energy, it seemed a little low on Wednesday out at practice.
Yeah, we weren't there as long.
No.
So you don't know.
No, but when we were, it felt like everybody's had that practice where it's like, oh God, it's preseason. There's 2.5
It definitely
full
didn't
weeks
feel
of
like
this.
the first day of practice.
Sure,
You know.
sure. But a lot to get into, a lot to talk about here. As we get into the program, we'll hear from Devon Jordan, somebody that has certainly made a name for himself at the quarterback position. A lot of the young defensive backs we're going to be talking about today. Reggie Powers, who we talked to at the beginning of the week. Certainly the things that Brent Venables had to say about Reggie Powers, you're going to want to go back and watch that. Before we get to all of that, though, talk to Kendal Daniels as well. Let us tell you about our good friends over at Poncho Outdoors. It is perfect right now for ponchos, and all you got to do is go to ponchooutdoors.com and pick anything. I know that, George, we got you a hat coming on the way.
Yeah.
Carrie's got a couple of the shirts.
We got to get
already
we got to get Brent on here because he was sweating today after practice. So I think that we definitely need to get Brent in some of this gear because it's ultralight. They got all the different stuff and different brands that they have that you can see Carrie's kind of going through. And I know Carrie, we showed some of it off the other day, Eddie.
It looked really good, and it was soft, too, and that's the best part about it. So all you got to do is go to ponchooutdoors.com and get your stuff. Pick it up. All you got to do. Sooner Scoop, promo code. There you go. All right? Come on. I got my stuff, and it's going to be on the way, and I'm going to be wearing it here in studio.
Heck yeah.
Making you jealous, George. All right, let's get into a little bit of it because we did talk to a bunch of the younger defensive backs within the program. Reggie Powers, Devon Jordan, Cortland Guillory, who we saw there at the beginning. All three guys certainly seems like they're going to have an opportunity to play this season.
Definitely. I mean, all of them are kind of in some position battles, but they're all three in a position to get on the field a lot more than they were last season in terms of Reggie Powers and Devon Jordan. And then Cortland Guillory, in terms of true freshmen, you know, there's been a lot of buzz about, you know, Michael Fasusi and Elijah Thomas, but of all the freshmen, it sounds like Cortland Guillory is maybe having the best camp and has a chance to get on the field quickly. So to hear from a lot of those guys, and one thing that I took away from them, Eddie, they're all really sharp.
Yeah.
These are guys that, you know, I know they're only 18, 19, 20 years old, but when you listen to them talk, you can see how mature they are.
No doubt about it. Here is Reggie Powers as well as Devon Jordan and Cortland Guillory talking about their first couple days this season.
It feels great, you know, the competition this fall has been great, you know, going against great guys on the offensive side. I feel like we're getting better every day, so by the time week one comes, we'll definitely be ready to go.
Where's your comfort level or just your confidence now, maybe compared to a year ago? Do you feel more settled in? Just what has that process been like?
Yeah, I definitely feel like mentally, you know, I'm becoming a faster player, you know. In high school, I feel like I played fast, you know. Last year as a freshman, didn't get too much time, so I didn't get as much experience, but I know getting reps every day at practice, I'm getting better every day. I feel like I'm making steps to get better every day, so that's all that matters.
Think of your cornerback room so far. You guys got a lot of young talent in that group.
Yes, we're young, but I think we're the best in the nation. We work every day. We push each other. We got freshmen that's ready right now. Cortland, dog. Like I'm telling you, we can put him out there. He's ready right now. Tristan, Malik, they're all ready. Came in the spring, got straight to work, and sure, you can't even tell they're younger guys. They're out there looking like older guys.
That's just me. I mean, I don't know. You go watch the film, you look at my tape. I've been like that. This is just the way I am. You gotta have some swag, some confidence. You know, you get on that island and you second guessing yourself. Now you gotta be 100% confident in your technique. You're gonna make a play. I would say Gentry Williams, Devon Jordan, and Eli Bourne. You know, I feel like obviously like Eli Bourne, he was the guy. He did what I want to do is going into my freshman year. You know, Gentry Williams, he older guy. He been here. He know how things go. He know the right way to do things and the wrong things. And Day, you know, he a great competitor. I love his game, and he pushed me every day. We push each other.
Cortland Guillory, not short on confidence. We can say that after talking to him. It was really nice to talk to him. And I remember going back to, back when we were doing some recruiting reports a year ago when he was a senior in high school, Josh came back and he would rave every time that we talked about him. And you certainly see why in some of that video, the physical attributes, his arms, it seemed, hang down to his knees. Yeah. Somebody that has certainly put himself into position, and if he can make plays, he's going to play. We saw that with Eli Bowen a year ago.
Yeah, and you love the confidence from him because, like you said, the body size, he certainly has the size as a true freshman to play, I think, in this league. But the confidence, at that position and playing corner and some of the elite players you're going to go up against, you really need that. And I think the athleticism, the physical abilities, they're all there. It's just about mentally understanding, where they need you, what you're being asked to do. I know he talked a lot today, too, about, playing zone coverage. He feels very, very comfortable in man-to-man, but it's zone coverage where he's really had to work on his game. And so it's those little things, Eddie, that as a true freshman, you just kind of have to work on throughout camp.
And he's just building the confidence, too.
Yeah.
He talked today about coming out of spring, which he didn't feel like went all that
which
well.
Which we had
for
heard
him.
Differently. We had heard that he did great in spring.
Which,
so
it's great. Kind of like. Maybe he's a good critic of himself. Here is a little bit more of the freshman quarterback, Cortland Guillory.
I feel like, honestly, every day I'm getting, a little bit better and better. I'm just trying to stack the days, like Coach say, and be ready when my number called. Honestly, I feel like I've grown a whole lot since my spring ball. I know spring didn't really go. In my opinion, I didn't think I really had a good spring, but I feel like as the fall is going, I'm having a really good fall. I'm just trying to, get better and better every day. Coach Villar, he one of the hardest coaches ever. I feel like, he called me and let me know, like, hey, Cortland, because he know my goal, he knows I want to play. So he tells me, if you're serious about this, then it's the stuff you got to work on. And I just been putting my mind to that this whole offseason. Coach makes it real. He lets everybody know what he did, his process. And I just try to take that all in because obviously I want to be just like a freshman All-American like he was. That's a big goal. So I'm trying to do anything everything I can that Coach tell me to do.
Certainly seems like he has a really good relationship with Jay Valai, obviously quarterback coach for Oklahoma. All right, let's flip over to the other side of the ball. You put up some notes from Wednesday's practice. Isaiah Satania had a big play. You're talking about explosive plays that this Oklahoma offense is going to need to see more of. Isaiah Satania, Keontez Lewis, those both seem to be guys that at that wide receiver position where there's plenty of opportunity up for grabs, they certainly seem to be the guys that are kind of taking it and run with it.
Yeah, it seems like OU did really well in the spring or in the winter portal in terms of adding some of these receivers. I mean, these names that continue to come up are these transfers, and Satania, I think especially, we've talked about it, was pretty productive for Arkansas last year. So I think he's really comfortable. They like getting the ball to him in space. He played mostly slot for Arkansas. I think they're kind of moving him all around right now, him and Deion Burks, who is expected to be back at practice later this week as well. So I think both those guys, Keontez Lewis, like you said, I've said it, he's just super consistent. I think one thing that he's excelled at is he just doesn't drop the football, is the way that it's been explained to me.
Really competitive catches during the one-on-one session that we went over on Monday afternoon as well.
I think he's got great hands, runs solid routes. Like, I think this is a guy that Oklahoma really likes, and talking to him, they feel like they have a chance to be pretty good in that room.
Here is Isaiah Satania as well as Keontez Lewis, and I think you're going to like what they had to say about John Mateer as well.
Been pretty good, we've been putting some good things on film, and we just want to build consistency off of that.
We've heard your name a lot in terms of just being a consistent player. Brent was just talking about you. What have you maybe brought to the offense so far?
Going into this year, like I said, I've just been trying to bring consistency, showing up every day, every play, and just, just making plays so that guys can build off of that.
How much has this offense maybe grown since the spring?
You know, I mean, we've been putting in a lot of new plays and stuff, but I mean, it's all great stuff. Like every day we put in a new play and, you know, it works. Like we'll bring it to the field and then, I mean, we'll execute it the right way and then you'll see that the results.
Fall camp's going pretty good right now. Been off to a good start. You know, we're all just trying to keep stacking days and as we get close to this first game. Honestly, everybody in the receiver room's been balling. I can't even pinpoint. Everybody's in there balling. Whoever's out there available has been balling. So that's that.
You know, we got the best quarterback in the nation, so, you know, I got to be there for him. I got to step up my game, you know, to be on his level. So, you know, that's just what I think every single day and going into practice, you know, whenever we're on the bus ride to practice. Like, I just think I got to be consistent, got to be there for John, you know, because he's the best quarterback in the nation.
How different is your comfort level because of that?
John he's a great leader. He's a great just mentor out there. So sure, everything that, you know, he tells me to do from that standpoint, routes, whatever details, we've been just locked in on that for real.
Look, it seems like there's going to be a lot of kind of go prove it positions. The wide receiver, it sounds great right now.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go out and do it, though. And obviously getting the full arsenal back, getting, as you said, Deion Burks back to practice. He's been at practice, but on the field, active, full participant.
Yeah.
That'll be a step in the right direction. It's going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks, though, to see, are these guys going to continue being the names that keep coming up?
Yeah, and they got to stay healthy. I have to say that every single time. But, you know, this time last year, Eddie, the only name we kept hearing at receiver was Deion Burks. And I think it's a good sign that, you know, you're hearing, you know, every day it's Satania, Keontae Lewis, Zion Kearney was somebody early in camp that was, you know, performing well. Elijah Thomas has had some good moments. Manny Choice. Like, there's several dudes that I think have stood up. Jermichael Carter, I think in the last couple of days has really, you know, started to click. And that's not even, talking about Giovanni Gibson, who we all expect to be back at some point,
right,
and they believe is going to be a big part of this offense. So it just feels like that room has a bit more depth than it did a year ago. Obviously, a lot of the depth was, you know, absent because of the injuries, but I do think that room has the chance to maybe exceed expectations.
If there was a player that was coming out of the spring that maybe, you know, did very well for himself, it seemed like it was Eddie Pierre-Louis. If you're talking about any of the young offensive linemen moving into bigger roles and opportunities within the team, we were able to talk with him on Wednesday after practice, and it seems like he's still continuing to put himself in that contention of possibly being a starter for this Oklahoma offensive line.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, Heath Ozida being out all spring with the labrum kind of opened the door for Eddie Pierre-Louis. He got all the first-team reps during spring practice at left guard, and now he's kind of saying, hey, I'm going to hold on to this starting spot. I know Heath Ozida's right behind him, pushing him, for that same spot, but Eddie's had a really good fall. He had a really good spring. We saw him in glimpses last year and have some good moments. So they really like his athleticism, his physicality. He's certainly somebody right now that I kind of have penciled in starting for Oklahoma this next year. And, getting to talk to him today seems like a sharp dude and certainly somebody to keep an eye on.
Here is Eddie Pierre-Louis just talking about the bigger opportunity ahead for him.
So this is my second go-around with camp, so I'm a lot more experienced, you know. Got a little slower, the game got a little slower. Still things I need to improve on mentally, physically, and I feel like it's been a good way for me to adapt throughout this whole process, and it's been a good way for me to go throughout this whole camp.
You kind of came in and made a name for yourself being a physical guy that brought a little bit of juice to the line. Has it been a stage where, okay, that was, you know, second nature for you to be physical, but now you've kind of learned to kind of perfect the craft in a way?
Yeah, so always, physical is always one thing about playing offensive line, but also technique is also a big thing that I also wanted to improve on this whole offseason. It's something that I've been improving on this whole offseason. But that was also, how you were saying, you always got to be aggressive, but you also have to be technically sound. That's something that we have to perfect as an offensive line and be where we want to be.
How'd you do that? What teammates kind of helped work with you on that?
Mainly the older guys like Fabechi Nwawu, Troy Everett, spending time with them in the meeting rooms, Jake Taylor, Jacob Sexton, and also looking for the younger guys as well. Like, I look at all them guys, Michael Fasusi, Ryan Foje. Those are guys that I look at as well with my sets. What are they doing good and what things I need to improve on with me? What can I use from them? those are good things about it.
You may have already been asked this, Eddie, but the film study that you guys did as a group over the offseason without Coach B, just kind of you guys organizing that, how much has that helped you guys?
That's helped us a lot, especially the younger guys. Like I was saying, Ryan Foje, Michael Fasusi, Sean Hutton, those guys, they've been learning a lot quicker. I feel like me, as an aspect of me, looking back at it, I feel like this is a good advantage for them moving on to this for this whole season, including a lot of the older guys as well. Like I was saying, for Becci, Jake Taylor, Logan Howland, Efo Zaida. Those are guys that have been learning a lot better, and it's been slowing down throughout this whole process too.
Was it the main game a year ago that he came in and
just
had the personal fouls and
yes.
it was like, oh my God, I love this
He was
guy.
demolishing dudes.
He had some nasty, and they need that on the Oklahoma offensive line. All right, last but not least, we talked to Kendal Daniels for the first time this season. I guess we talked to him during the spring after his transfer from Oklahoma State. I think that there's a lot of people that are obviously excited about him. You heard Nate Dreiling, you heard Wes Goodwin talking about him. Brent Venables has been very complimentary about how they can use him. It's going to be kind of fun to see, and we talked about this on the Brent Venables breakdown on the YouTube show, just in terms of where's he going to be. We know he's going to be on the field. It seems like he can fit a multiple amount of roles.
He's going to be at Cheetah, I think, to start. Now, he's getting some reps at inside backer as well, but they want to play him at Cheetah, and he really fits the mold of what they wanted to do with Dasan McCullough, and McCullough was just more of a edge rusher type guy, wasn't great in coverage. They feel like Kendal Daniels can cover. Now, he's not going to be covering guys like Deion Burks in the slot, right? But they feel like he could cover a tight end in space and things like that. He played safety at Oklahoma State before moving to linebacker. So very versatile player. They've, liked him to, a guy like Isaiah Simmons, who's, was one of the best players at Clemson under Brent Venables. If he can be anywhere near the type of player Isaiah Simmons was, Oklahoma's got a really good football player in Kendal Daniels. And so it's exciting, but I want to see it on the field, right?
Sure.
It's like a lot of these guys. Yeah. I want to see it play out, but when you talk about the body type, the athleticism, I think he's a really smart player. He is really kind of a perfect fit for what they're looking for in that Cheetah position.
There was a lot of people that were wondering if, going all the way back to his high school days at Beggs, was he going to end up at Oklahoma? Obviously, he did it. He is here now. Here is Kendal Daniels talking about just becoming a little bit more comfortable within the Brent Venables defense, as well as a tough decision that he had to make in transferring to Norman.
It's great. I mean, I feel like what everybody else feels like. It's a great defense. He's a national championship defensive coordinator, and him calling the plays is, it's fun. And to be under that, sometimes I'll just sit back and just be like, I'm really under Coach Venables, and it's crazy just to see him talk sometimes, and it's crazy.
How do you feel like his defense can help get the best out of your versatility?
I feel like it'll be perfect, moving me around in different positions and making me learn different positions and learning everywhere, even the corners out on the field. Just if I learn the whole defense during the installs, I can go play any position. So I feel like moving around to be fun and just showcase what I can do in other players, because other players play a lot of positions too. And so all of us moving around and doing other things, I feel like that will disrupt offenses.
You mentioned like initially worrying about how the guys would receive you coming from OSU. Obviously, you're not the first to do it now, and being in different conferences. Like, do you think that has helped kind of make that transition easier?
Oh yeah. Not playing them every year now makes it a lot easier. Because I don't think I would have ended up coming over here if it was still in the same league, just because it was hard for me to come over here. Just being from OSU it was the hardest decision I ever had to make in my life. I sat in my room for like 5 days by myself just thinking about it. Like on my way down here, I was like, I cannot go down and go to OU, because I grew, I would say, a hatred towards the Sooners when I was at OSU, just because we always played them and our fans would guard their fans and everything. But like, you come to love your enemies, I would say, So my enemies became my friends, and you see both sides of it now. And the rivalry is fun and all, but I just feel like the transition has been the best decision that I could have made.
seems like a little bit more anguish than maybe Trace Ford had to go through a year ago. Bob Brisbilla wrote a little bit more about Kendal Daniels. You can find that on SoonerScoop.com. Plenty of coverage over the last couple of days, but particularly here on Wednesday after talking to Brent Venables, as well as a number of people, players that it's going to be the same thing that we've said all year, and now that we're getting closer, you can actually say with, I guess, a little bit more truthfulness, I guess would be one way to say it. This is a massive season for everybody associated with this program.
Huge, and it feels like every day we're learning a little bit more about who these guys are and which guys are standing out, and that's why you need to subscribe to Sooner Scoop. Sure. Scrimmage coming up on Saturday. I know we talked a little bit about that in the show with Brent Venables, and Brent kind of previewed it, but make sure you're on the site because I'm sure we'll have some notes up. It's only $1. What is it? $1 for 7 days right now.
4 quarters. Come on.
Yeah, you got to pay for it. So it's a fun time. We're here late today, but I love camp season and it's been fun. We've gotten a lot of really good access too.
Ton of great access. That's probably the most actual practice that we've been allowed to come in and see. You can see all the sights and sounds. We had another one on Wednesday that you can see here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel. All right, that's going to do it for the post-practice report. It was good to talk to a number of those guys. Very excited about Reggie Powers. I think the way that Brent Venables, looks great. It's a little bit unusual. He doesn't usually rave about somebody like that, like he did. You can catch all that in the Brent Venables recap. For George Stoya, I'm Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you back here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel.